Hey folks, tonight I'm going to do a video on my STI Tactical 5-inch. It's similar to the Staccato P that I did a week or two ago, but yet it's different. It's an older model, so it's going to have some differences from the Staccato. The Staccato's actually, in my opinion, a little bit better built. It's got some better options on it, but we'll zoom down here and I'll show you a close-up of it. This is my STI 2011 Tactical 5.0. This is an older model. I don't know when I got this gun. I can't remember. It's been between 5, 6, maybe 7 years ago. I'm not sure. But I've had this gun for a while. This gun's seen a lot of rounds too. Been a good one. I'll go over the specs of the gun with you. It is a 5-inch slide or 5-inch barrel. It's a government model. It's got a full-length Picatinny rail, so to mount lights, lasers, whatever you want to. I just like it because it adds more weight up front, makes it a flatter shooting gun. This one is, of course, a 2011, so it's got the polymer grip. I did a grip reduction on this one, scalloped out right here, just like a normal 1911 would be. Helps my finger get closer to the trigger. And then I stippled it and put some, I can't remember what color Cerakote that is, it's a tactical gray or something like that. Done some changes to the gun other than just the grip. Put a STI short trigger in it. I put a Wilson Combat wide thumb safety on it and then kind of contoured it down so it wasn't quite so long. Internally, the hammer is an EGW ultralight hammer. It's also got a cylinder and slide, ultra-lightweight sear. It's got an SVI disconnector in it. This one runs a 17-pound mainspring with a Dawson Precision extended firing pin. That allows you to kind of lighten your trigger even further. This has a very, very light trigger on it. It's a sub 2-pound trigger on it. I did a trigger job on this one probably about a month after I got it. The factory trigger on it wasn't bad, but I knew I wanted this one to be just a range gun and I wanted it to run as fast as I could run. I also have a titanium hammer strut in it, which is lighter than the steel one. I can't remember all the parts that I put into this gun, but I've got this trigger tuned pretty nice. Let's do some trigger pulls. Make sure it's empty. Let's do some trigger pulls and see just how light this trigger is. I remember with this trigger pull gauge, sometimes it can be a little finicky, so I'm going to try to pull it right. That way I can get a good accurate reading on it. Comes in 1 pound 6 ounces. Let's try it again. 1 pound 4 ounces. 1 pound 4 ounces. 1 pound 2 ounces. That was a little off. I knew I had a bad pull on that one. And 1 pound 5 ounces. The average is 1 pound 4.6 ounces. So you got less than a pound and a half trigger pull on this gun. And the nice thing about it is that even though it's a pound and a half trigger pull, it's still 100% reliable. I'm not gonna do it. I can drop the slide on this thing with a empty chamber, which I don't advise people to do, but I can drop the slide on an empty chamber with this and the hammer stays back. I don't get any hammer follow. I don't have any inadvertent full auto strings. It's a very safe trigger pull, or the way I've got it set up, it's very safe. So trying trying to think if there's anything else about this gun that I can tell you. It's got a standard front sight on it. I just painted it orange. I don't have to have some fancy sight on it. It's got a blacked out rear sight made by Heine. It's my favorite rear sight. Let's see, anything else I can tell you particular about the gun? Oh, the finish on this one. The finish on this one's different from the Staccato. STI changed some things a couple years ago. When this gun was offered, it was offered with a Cerakote finish. So this is black Cerakote. It's a coating, unlike the Staccato, which is a DLC finish, which is a metal treatment. So this one actually is holding up pretty good. I'm not seeing much wear. You can see some right on the high points. Let's see if you can scan around and see any over here. Might be a little on the high points here, but actually overall the finish is holding up pretty good to be Cerakote. Whoever applied it obviously applied it properly. So anyway, I'm going to stop the video here and roll in some range footage and let you see how the gun shoots. Now, I was off tonight. I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm a little under the weather, not feeling the greatest in the world, and it sure reflected in my shooting tonight. Also, I'm gonna tell you, if you have anyone offer you some STI first generation mags, you just tell them no. These things are junk. They're junk. The first generations are easy to spot. They've got a raised rib in the center. This is a first generation as well. It's got a raised rib in the center. The second generation mags is flat in the center here. So you can tell a difference between the two of them right there. These are the 140 millimeter mags, hold 21 rounds. These mags gave me fits tonight, and they always have. The Generation 1 mags always have. They're not that great. The Generation 2 mags that I ran, like this one right here, 100%, no problem at all. I don't know all the changes they've made in these magazines, but man, they've done a heck of a job tweaking these mags, because from the first to the second generation, it's night and day. No failures at all out of these. I can attribute every failure I had tonight out of those Generation 1 mags. So somebody offers you some Generation 1 mags, run the other way. So they're not worth having. So watch this range footage, and I'll be back to tell you my thoughts. First thing I'm going to do is with the STI 2011 Tactical 5.0. Like I said, it's an older one. I am running some older mags in it. So if I get some failures, they're probably going to be from the mags, because when I run new mags through it, the new generation mags through it, it runs like a top. So I'm going to try this slow the first time and then speed up the second time. Go down here and take a look. Let's see. First one, 5. Second one, 5. I threw one on that one. Don't know where I threw it. Not quite sure. But 5x5, it was in 1027. So pretty slow. Just trying to warm up to this gun. We're going to try it again. Go faster this next time. .72. No world record, but just a warm-up drill, try to get used to the gun again. And like I said, keeping everything the same from one review to the other. So we'll see how it goes from here. All right, Bear Solutions drill, the 10 and 3. So I'm gonna run the STI 2011 TAC and see what I can do on time. Wasn't bad. It was 6.64, but I fumbled that draw because my older mag didn't drop freely. But I did have one miss in the round circle. I'm gonna try it again. Hitchy on that trigger, but still did it in a good time. 5.80. I'm going to try it one more time. Pretty good run. Now let's move on to something else. All right, on this drill, I'm going to run it. It's similar to another drill I used to run, but it's going to be a little different. I'm going to put 2 shots on this silhouette, 2 shots on this silhouette, and 2 shots on this silhouette. They're spaced out about 1.5 yards, maybe 2 yards apart. Then after I fire my last shot onto the final silhouette, I'm going to reload, and I'm going to go back and put 2 shots, and 2 shots. So let's see how this works out. I'm going to run it at a moderate pace, not real fast, and just kind of see what a baseline time will be. Then on the second run, I'll speed up some. Well, it would help if I would load my gun. Ooh, I don't like that time. That's a bad time. Anyway, that's just a moderate pace. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit and see if I can shave maybe a second or so off that. Let's see. Shaved So that's 12 shots with a reload and 5.68 seconds. Let's see what my reload time was. Reload was okay. It's 2.25 seconds, so about 2 seconds to reload. So not bad. My splits were pretty consistent though. I'm gonna try this drill one more time. I'm gonna back up to about the 5-6 yard line and see what I can do. Stuck on that 666 mark. I don't like it. That was kind of a crappy run anyway. Let's try it again. These old mags are junk. Do not buy old STI mags. They're junk. Better. 608. Better. I'm probably going to incorporate that drill into my review and just kind of see what other guns can do with that. But the gun transition's good. I'm getting good hits on target. They're all, if they're not A-zone, they're really close to A-zone hits. And on that, the A-zone is about 2/3 of the size of a regular USPSA target, so or IPSC target. So on a real IPSC target, they would be A-zone hits. So pretty good. All right, I'm gonna try to do 21 rounds, as fast as possible, A-zone hits. Then we'll come back, just like I do on the other ones, try to do a mag dump, head zone. See how it goes. Not the greatest in the world. My timing is way off tonight. I'm having a hard time with my trigger finger timing that next shot. So, and you can probably see it on video, but that wasn't so great. I'm gonna try it one more time. All right, let's try those A-zone hits again. I'm gonna slow down a little bit and try to work on my trigger manipulation because I'm just not getting it tonight very well. So I'm gonna go for headshots now. Not too bad, not too good though either. Let's see. Those are all headshots, about 4 inches. So don't let that be an indictment on the gun. Let that be an indictment on me tonight, because I'm not having a great night tonight. So I'm a little under the weather, but I wanted to go ahead and make this video anyway. You might notice the rig I'm wearing
It's different from what I usually wear. I got a new rig that I'm gonna evaluate and test out. So it's made by Grey Ghost. So I'll give you a full review on it whenever I get some more rounds through it. So let's try one more thing. Not my best groups, but it'll have to do tonight. So you can see first group, second group, third group started off good, and then I started stringing them out. So like I said, don't let that be a bad mark on the gun. Let that be a bad mark on me, because I didn't perform tonight the way I should have. So I'm gonna wrap this up and give you some final thoughts.
Hey folks, back from the range, and we'll talk a little bit about the STI 2011 Tactical, this one right here. As long as I was running the Generation 2 mags through it, the thing ran flawlessly. I wasn't on my game tonight, and it showed in the shooting. But you know, we have good days, we have bad days, and this was one of my bad days. The trigger on it, most of y'all don't know me. I do a lot of 1911 work, and I kind of specialize in 1911 triggers. And this is probably the best trigger job I've ever done on a gun. I used cylinder and slide sear and SVI disconnect, which is, in my opinion, they're the lightest ones out there. The cylinder and slide sear is the ultralight sear. I used a one that I never used before, EGW ultralight hammer, and it's become my new favorite as far as just competition style hammers go. I get the lightest trigger pull on that. I use a Colt sear spring. I'm able to get a better spring tension, and I'm able to tune a Colt sear spring easier than some of these heavier sear springs. This one is running a 17-pound mainspring. Normally with a standard length firing pin, I would never run a 17-pound mainspring, because you're going to get light strikes unless you use something like a Federal primer. But with the Dawson extra length firing pin that I use, I've never had a light strike out of this gun, ever. I think I could probably take it down to a 15-pound mainspring, which I won't. You've got to remember, the mainspring and the recoil spring work hand in hand together. So if you go too light on one, it throws off the other. So it'll mess with the timing of your gun if you're not careful. The recoil spring that I use in this one, it's a 10-pound recoil spring. It's very light, very, very light, but I get no muzzle dip in this gun at all. And I'm not running a compensator on it. So even without a compensator on this gun, a 10-pound recoil spring with a 17-pound mainspring, the recoil is soft, and I have no muzzle dip on the forward end. When the slide goes back into battery, it doesn't dip at all. It's a very, very flat shooting gun. And that's what I want out of a competition style gun. I'm not a competitor. I just get out and try to have fun. But that's what I want. And it took a long time to learn how to do a trigger job like this. I messed up a lot of sears, messed up a lot of really good sears. So I'm gonna recommend if you want to learn how to do trigger jobs on a 1911, buy you some old cheap sears from Brownells or Midway, and just start get you a good jig. The jig I have, oh man, I can't remember the name of the jig I got. It's a really good jig. It might come back to me here in a minute, but if you're, and I'm kind of getting off topic here, but if you're wanting to learn how to do trigger jobs, get you a good jig and get you a bunch of old crappy sears, just some old cheap ones, because you're going to mess a bunch of them up. Just through trial and error, you're going to mess a bunch of them up. But over time, you'll be able to refine the process to where you can repeat a trigger job over and over and over again. I've gotten to where I can repeat a 4-pound trigger job. I've gotten to where I can repeat a 3-pound trigger job. I've gotten to where it's super easy now that I can repeat a 2-pound trigger job, no problem. Going lighter than 2 pounds is kind of tricky. It can be done, and it can be done safely, but you got to know what you're doing in order to do it. Some people might be able to get you a sub 2-pound trigger job, but it's not the safest one out there. So just be careful if somebody tells you they can do a sub 2-pound trigger job on a 1911, because they might be able to, but it might not be one that you really want to have in a holster on your side. So just be careful with that. Let's pan down here and I'll talk about my thoughts about the gun now that we're done shooting. All right, what I think about this gun. This was my first 2011 that I ever bought, and I was blown away when I bought it. This is more or less an entry level 2011. I think when I bought this gun, it was, I don't know, $1,700, maybe $1,800, and for a 2011, that's your entry level. But this is pretty much an entry level 1911 or 2011, and that's what I wanted for my first one. I was literally blown away when I picked this gun up and shot it for the first time. This is before I did anything to it. It was the without a doubt the smoothest operating gun at that time I'd ever had. You can't really see it and feel it for yourself, but this thing is literally like it runs on greased ball bearings. It is so smooth, but yet the frame to slide fit is super tight. You have no up and down movement. You have very, very little side to side movement. The barrel lockup is super tight. And I know in the accuracy part, I didn't really do the gun justice tonight. I promise I can do a little bit better than that, but in the accuracy department, this thing will shoot. I guarantee you at 25 yards, it's a 2-inch or less gun at 25 yards. It is a bull barrel gun. It doesn't have a bushing, so it's a bull barrel gun, but this one doesn't have the Recoil Master system in it. It's just got a full-length guide rod with a traditional spring on it, which I like. I like that much better than the Recoil Master system that STI offers. My final thoughts: when the gun was new, I had to do a little bit to the grip to make it fit me. You notice it doesn't look like it has grip panels on it anymore. That's because I rounded everything off and smoothed it down. I also scalloped out on both sides of the trigger guard in the back. That way my finger can get to the trigger. I undercut up under the trigger. And on the other side I did the same thing. I scalloped out here and got me a good undercut. I stippled the gun to a texture that I like. It's not overly aggressive, but yet this gun won't move in your hand. And just for giggles, I put a Cerakote finish on it. I do Cerakoting myself, so I think this one is Tactical Gray or something like that, but it looks alright. But if I had to do it over again, I'd probably just left it black. But the things that I changed out on the gun were things that I change out on every 1911. You notice if you've watched my other two videos about my Les Bear and my STI, I've got that short trigger on it. I've got a wide thumb safety on it. Something I do to every single one of them. And this one's no different. I can operate this one one-handed, and like I said in one of my previous videos, if I can't operate a 1911 one-handed, then I can't have it. I think all guns need to be able to be operated with strong or weak hand only. This one came with a ambidextrous thumb safety on it. I'm not a big fan of ambi thumb safety, so I took it off. Pros of the gun. The gun shoots fast, super fast. It cycles so fast, and it shoots so flat. This, like I said, I was blown away when I picked this gun up the first time and shot it. I had never shot anything that cycled this fast and shot this flat. It almost feels like you're cheating when you shoot this gun. I mean, it really does. It feels like you're cheating. And that's one of the beauties about the 2011 platform. But there's almost no recoil to it. The recoil, I use anywhere from 124 grain blazer brass or 147 grain blazer brass. Tonight I was using 147 grain, and the recoil is almost non-existent. It's not like a 22. People are going to tell you, well, it cycles like a 22. Well, no, it doesn't. It has more recoil than a 22, but it is so soft to shoot. The recoil is straight back and straight back forward, straight back and straight forward, straight back, straight forward. I mean, it's just amazing how this gun shoots. I like the standard sights on it. They're blacked out sights, but I fix that easy by putting a little orange paint on the front. It stands out good to me. The Cerakote finish is held up really good on this gun. I don't have any problem with the Cerakote finish at all. They obviously at STI they've got it down where they have somebody good doing their Cerakote, so it's held up great. This gun has tons and tons of holster draws, and for just the little bit of wear that it shows on it, whoever put the Cerakote on, applied the Cerakote, knew what they were doing. Drawbacks of the gun. The price, you know, it's a little pricey. I think you can still get a base standard tactical for about $1,800–$1,900. And that's getting on up there with the Les Bears. So is this as good a gun as a Les Bear? Man, I'm gonna have to let you decide that. This is still a production gun. Even though there are a lot of parts that are hand fit on this gun, the entire gun is not hand fit like a Les Bear is. If I had to choose between this and a Les Bear for my next purchase, it would depend solely on what I was going to use the gun for, and that's what it would come down to. I know there are some companies out here that make 2011 platform guns that run up to like a SVI, maybe $6,000. Well, I don't see myself ever buying a $6,000 2011 because I can get pretty much everything I want from the STI, and as long as I can get it to do what I want it to do, then if I can save $3,000 or $4,000, then that's what I'm going to do. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to give this STI a big thumbs up because this was my very first STI. It's still one of my favorites just because of the work that I put into it. But if you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. Like I said before, I'm just trying to build this channel up. I'm not trying to make any money on this. I enjoy doing it. It would be nice if I had somebody like American Eagle or somebody like that throw me a few bullets here or there. But even without that, I'll still keep making these videos because they're just fun to do. But I guess that's going to be it on this one. Sorry for my poor performance on the range tonight. Hopefully it won't be that bad next time, but kind of fighting a little cold and some allergies going on. So and also tweaked my knee a little bit the other day at work. So not 100% on my game today. But I appreciate you watching. I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and like I said, please give it a thumbs up and share it if you will.